Warning: the following program contains adult language, adult themes, and spoilers. Viewer discretion is advised.
Good evening, and welcome to this week's episode of This Week's Episode. It's the week of April 15th, 2021. This is episode 229, and I'm your host, Chris Randazzo. Tonight, joining me as always is Unsurprising Renewal, Karen Randazzo.
This is some bullshit.
Successful Kickstarter, Angie Fernot.
Levity.
And Gruffly Batman, Evan Goldstein.
Coward.
Tonight, the planet is tasked with bringing back MST3K again. We get a glimpse into the new Wonder Years. Raylan Givens threatens to delight our TV screens once again, and more. But first, how's it going, guys?
Violets.
Violets. Hey, listeners, do you know what violets are? Not the flower, but the candy that's
Chowards.
based on the flower? Because I'm convinced it's made by Chowards, and Evan's trying to tell me it's made by C. Howards, but that's not nearly as fun.
Also known as the devil. It's the devil. I'm telling you guys. I have to be in the same room.
Delicious.
Oh my god. These candies. Stop breathing in my direction. This is my nightmare. This
Week
is what
after
hell
week.
feels like.
Karen and I are on the other end of this call, and there just comes a point before the show where Evan rips into these violet things, and Angie just starts just dry heaving.
See, this is the best part about it, is that every once in a while, Angie and I will be out and about. We'll hit like Michael's and other stores, but in the complex where the Michael's is this weird store that sells really expensive like furniture and foods from all around the world. And
It's called World Market for those of
There
you who
you
are
go.
civilized.
the only reason I
heard
go
of
into
World
that
Market.
building is because they sell violets in there. And she knows this for a fact. The last time I was, just driving nowhere near Michael's, I'm like, oh, we're going to go someplace specific. She goes, where? I go, I'm not telling. And then we pull around. It got to go all the way behind the complex and whatnot. And she got into eyesight. She goes, shit, you're going to get violets, aren't you?
Yep. Yeah, it was a great
So
day.
as this keeps going on, I'm constantly wondering what the hell these things are, because what candies called violets could possibly be this foul and or wonderful, right? Because Evan loves them, Angie wants to die. So I started trying to figure these things out, and I don't know that I'm any more enlightened now than I was before. But
Well, okay, so here, maybe I can help you. Have you ever had jasmine tea?
no.
Okay, well, all right. That's the closest
Sorry.
thing that I can suggest is try drinking jasmine tea. It's like putting a flower in your mouth. It's not great
Have you
for
ever
some
gone
people.
to your garden and just started licking things?
Seriously, you know what? The schnozberries taste
Literally.
like
See, and
schnozberries.
you know what's weird is that every time she brings a cup of hot liquid into this room, it smells like tree. So I don't know why she's got any legs to stand on. She drinks liquid bark.
Because people like the smell of nature, honey. That is chemical bullshit that is meant to replicate the smell and or taste of a flower. And then when you put it in your mouth, it is just agony. I have tried them, listeners. I have tried them. They disgust me, and they should disgust you.
This will be the
Oh my
end of our
God.
relationship. It'll be the violets versus tea debacle.
The wedding's going to be amazing. Your bouquet is going to be nothing but violets.
Oh my God, honey! You know how they do those little almonds in the net bags on
hate
each
this
table?
so much.
Everyone's
Chris,
getting a bag of violets.
you ruined my marriage before it
Thank
even
you,
started.
Chris. I love you.
She's not going to leave you at the altar per se, because she is going to show up just to beat you up.
Throw violets at me. Throw the little baggies at me.
She's going to show up, marry you, and immediately divorce you. Signing.
Oh, good times.
Yeah, good times. What you guys been up to?
Something.
Huh? Anything
It's time.
besides, violets?
The end of an era.
Don't let violets lead to violence.
Oh God, the
That
pun, the
was
bad.
wonderful. That almost made it worth it. If I wasn't extremely nauseous from the smell right now, I would probably laugh.
And if I wasn't super backed up with commissions, I'd probably stitch it.
Yes. It's a good problem to have.
So I'm actually going to, I'll start because I can incorporate Dan into this. Dan, your lovely co-host.
And hopefully the more you talk, the less you can fit in your mouth.
So,
That's what she said.
wow, honey.
Love you.
Apparently. So the other day, Dan reached out to me and he's like, hey, can you get the show The Repair Shop? Tiff and I want to watch it, or Tiff wants it. I said, I'll take a look. I was at work, so I couldn't see it. So I did my research. There is 150 episodes of this. I'm pretty sure it's a BBC show. It is European.
My dad watches this show.
Okay,
This show is super cool.
it's great. It's
Yeah.
25 minutes. But after the first episode that I watched, I immediately responded to him saying, fuck you and fuck this show, because I should not be crying at the end of a, hey, we took this old thing and made it better show. Because every story is, this was my mother's clock, and it means so much to me. Thank you for making it so... Tears are streaming down my eyes because of this... Too much emotion for 22 minutes, okay? I just wanted to forget what I was watching, and I can't. So now I have 140 episodes of this show that I have to watch and find out, all of the things that this group of wonderful human beings will fix for these sad humans. It's actually really good. I enjoyed it quite a bit.
I watched a little bit of my parents' house when my dad was watching it, and it's like, yeah, I could see myself watching this. I mean, I'm not gonna, but I can see myself doing it.
And it's like it's sort of like the cake shows and all of it's not a contest, but it is a workshop that has 5 or 6 different tradespeople in it. Woodworkers, and one guy's specialty is clocks. Oddly, there's one guy that specialized in accordions, which was weird. I thought maybe musical instruments, but no. Accordions specifically. And then these rando people come into their shop and say, hey, this is the story behind this particular thing. Can you fix it, or can you make it what it once was? And the first one was this clock, and this woman is talking about it, and it was her father's clock, and he, not only was it her father's clock, he made the clock before he lost his sight. And then he died, and then the clock stopped working, and they are really laying it on thick. And she's like, all I want to do is hear, sound was so important to him, all I want to do is hear that chime again, and I can't explain it. It was like, and I was like, I know where this is going to go. And they made the clock beautiful, and it played the song beautifully, and I was tore up.
Evan was feeling his feelings
mess at the end of this episode. It was beautifully done. So I'm assuming that it's going to be that way throughout the entirety of this show. They're going to find a lot of beautifully made things that have just lost their luster, and they're going to bring the stuff back. There was furniture, and it's a really well done show.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed what I saw of it. I just thought it was fascinating watching them restore these things.
Mm-hmm.
Like the attention to detail and how they figure out, well, this is what this was originally supposed to look like, so now we're going to make it look like that. And
yeah.
It's a talent I don't have, but greatly appreciate.
Absolutely. I watched 2 episodes, or at least 2. The clockmaker worked on 2 different clocks in both episodes, and he's explaining there's 400 or 350 different parts to a specific clock, and they're all tiny little cogs and springs and whatnot. And he takes everything apart, and he puts it in this bath, and he washes it all. And I'm talking washers half the size of a dime. And it's just in this bath, and he's scrubbing, and everything came out. Everything went back to, he didn't lose anything. I'm like, how do you learn how to do that? So tiny, such detailed work. And it was actually amazing to see some of the stuff that they had repaired and refinished. It was great. Really well done.
Nice.
I also like seeing your excitement over it, because as you were watching, you'd be like, this is so cool. And I was like, you're a dork. I love this.
Well, I like this stuff, though. Mm-hmm. I've been watching Suburgatory. I've caught up on what was it? With the Last Man Standing. So I'm caught up with that. So I had to find something else. So I started watching Suburgatory, which have you guys heard or seen this show?
Heard
I've
of
heard
it.
of it.
So it's can't remember the woman's real name, but it's Zoe from Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist. So when she was younger, the show is about her and her father moving from Manhattan.
It's her from about 10 minutes before she made Zoe.
It looks like it, but it is years before that. And it's just, little sitcom-y stuff about living in this ridiculous world that is this Chatswin, I think Chatswin is the name of the town.
I don't know.
But it's so first off, I started watching it because of Zoe, because of I'm trying to look up her name right now because I'm blanking on it. It is Jane Levy or Levy, and as I started watching it, I had watched it before, but then remembered Wash is in it.
Alan Tudyk.
Alan Tudyk is in a show, and he is by far my favorite part of this show. He is the crazy neighbor who was best friends with the father figure in this, and like every time he shows up on screen, the man is a national goddamn treasure. Like he should be in every television show.
Alan Tudyk, America's hero.
Should be.
Even though he's a ginger.
so underappreciated, but he's such a good actor. But yeah, that's my 20-minute show that I'm watching before I start getting ready for work, and just the time filler. So, have you watched anything, hun?
Yeah,
Outside
I actually
of the stuff that we forced in today.
Yeah, we made an effort to watch a few things today. But I guess we'll get to that in a second. And then independently, I've actually been watching Castlevania, the Netflix animated series.
Hey.
Yeah, I had started it at one point, and I realized I never finished it, and I thought it would be cool to give it a try.
How could you not finish it? It's like 15 minutes long.
Because it's me, and because when I was watching it, they were still I think it was when they released the first season, and it was only that first 4 episodes, and then I just never picked it up again. So I was like, all right, well, it's long overdue. Let's give it a shot. And I'm glad that I did, because I love the animation style. The storytelling is really cool. There's just a lot of really neat, of course, I'm going to get into the art of it. Just a lot of really cool, visual effects. And I did not realize that it starts with, a love story for Dracula. I wanted to ask you about, the history of the games, because I didn't remember there ever being a very in-depth plot, but I don't know much about them.
Yes, there is a lot of plot in Castlevania. It didn't start that way because it was the first Castlevania was basically a play on monster movie, like Universal Monsters. It was supposed to be. It was kind of a joke, but it was really good. So people just kind of stuck with it, and by Castlevania 2, it started to build this lore. But then. So, you had Castlevania, you're Simon Belmont, you do with a whip, you're beating up the monsters. Then you got Castlevania 2, and I gotta, someone's trying to resurrect, I gotta resurrect Dracula to kill him again because he cursed me before he died. Okay, that's some video game nonsense, let's do it. Then Castlevania 3 happened, and Castlevania The Adventure happened, and that's when the lore started going crazy, because Castlevania 3... you were playing as Trevor Belmont. He looked just like Simon because it was a Nintendo game, but Trevor Belmont was like Simon's grandfather or something. And then in the Game Boy one, you were playing as Christopher Belmont. Okay, who's that? Well, he's like Trevor's great granddad or something like that. And then it just got nuts. By the last Castlevania game they made, you were playing as Soma Cruz in the year 2140, who is the reincarnated soul of Dracula in a teenager who goes to high school, that all these people are trying to kill him so that they can take his soul and resurrect Dracula. But you're like this good dude who's like, well, I have all the powers of Dracula and I'm going to kill all these bad guys so the Castlevania can never come back again. It's freaking bananas.
Yep. Okay. Sounds about as cohesive as I remember. So, gonna stand by the not really a story thing. Or maybe it's just too much story.
The show does a little bit better of a job, kind of we're just going to tell this story and be done with that. And it's cool. It's expanding on a lot of the existing lore and existing characters, because there have been manga adaptations and stuff over the years. and tons and tons of variations of the games over the years. So it's a thing. Castlevania's got lore.
I didn't realize they had also done like all the manga stuff too. Okay, so yeah, being way out of the loop. Yeah, it's been really cool so far. I've only watched the first 2 episodes because I finished a giant commission that I've been working on for the last few months, and like finally have a little bit of time to breathe. So yeah, I took the time to start that and start watching it. I'm also watching. What's the dumbest television? I don't even know. I'm just gonna say it. So I found a show on Netflix called Living Mortgage Free. And it is a UK-based
Living
show.
Mortgage Free, the Dean DeFalco story.
Right? Oh, Evan liked
It's a
that
little
one a little too
inside
much.
baseball for you folks.
Care to elaborate on that, Chris?
No, not.
Okay.
Dean's not here to defend himself.
Anyway,
Okay, so let's do it.
we love you, Dean, but not really. Okay. Anyway, moving on.
Damn.
So, listen,
That
I'm
got
just
cold.
playing off of what you
I
said.
love Dean.
All right,
genuinely
I
love
enjoy
that man.
Dean and his company, but you were throwing some shade. I'm just giving it back. I don't know. All right. So, anywho, watching this show, the British Dean DeFalco story, and it's very cool for me because I just like this kind of stuff. It's about ambitious people with like DIY projects and being crafty with money and figuring out ways to do exactly that, live mortgage free. And I don't know, I guess for me, like, we've hit this point in our lives now where we're getting married, and I'm thinking about what we want for our future and how it's like impossible to own a home in America now.
And what she came up with is living mortgage free.
And then, I just found this show, and I was like, this is definitely something we can't do. Let's watch this. And so, yeah, it was fun. I don't know. I just liked it because there's like people, it's happening overseas. So there's like people who live in houseboats and like just weird shit.
That's the one I walked in on, and I was shocked that the boat was floating because that's how bad this place looked. And I'm like, no wonder she's living mortgage free. She's living on a barge. It's a garbage barge. So
Yeah, but that's what they do. Like, excuse me. Oh, sorry.
that's real. That's real.
Okay. Anyway, sorry.
She's sweet.
Did
when she yawns.
a pixie just float in here and give the most adorable yawn on the planet? What the hell is that?
I try so hard not to do this on. Sorry.
So on her Twitch stream, every time she yawns, there's a thing that someone will type, and
There's a yawn counter.
There's a yawn counter for every time.
Yeah, I yawn a lot. I do such a good job most of the time of keeping quiet when I feel like it's going to happen. This one just snuck right up on me.
Because the microphone's attached to your face, you
I
can't
know,
get away
I can't.
from it.
I really can't. And if it hurts to like suppress the yawn, and if I'm mid sentence, anywho. All right, so moving on. Yeah, I don't know. People build shit on boats, and it's cheap. The end.
Excellent synopsis.
Thank
Well
you.
done.
Thank you. Yeah, that's it. I don't know. We watched other stuff, but that's all.
Well, we
I'm done.
powered through 3 things today,
Yeah.
just because. One was a show called Rebel, featuring what is her name?
Peggy Bundy.
Peggy Bundy. Who plays Peggy Bundy?
Oh,
Katie Seagal.
yeah.
Katie Seagal. Very good. Show is mediocre at best. Really not good writing. It's sort of like an Erin Brockovich story. Tough broad, taking down the big corporations legally kind of thing. But, like, nothing about this show made me want to watch the second one. Like, it was meh.
Yeah, it didn't catch me. There were some moments where I was like, "Oh, cool," but it just seemed like it just felt like they were doing tropes. Like, here's the badass woman trope. Here's like, I'm strong, but I'm not a good mother, but I care a lot about people and I'm a good person. And I don't know, like, it was all these different things that I've kind of already seen before. And since I started doing this podcast, I guess all of a sudden I actually give a shit about television. And it's amazing the things that I will get selective about now, including this, where I felt like the plot was too generic. The characters and the storytelling were not really unique, and it just didn't grab me. It just felt like a formula I'd seen before, and I was really disappointed that I didn't like it more because I wanted to so badly. But yeah, it didn't get me.
But on the other hand, what a show that we both watched and both enjoyed was The Nevers.
Yeah, didn't see that coming.
So have you guys
Please
heard about?
explain.
Okay, so The Nevers is a period piece. It takes place, I want to say, in the late 1800s, and yes, 1886, Victorian London is rocked to its foundations by a supernatural event which gives certain people, mostly women, abnormal abilities. So what it is sort of like it's like the beginnings of the X-Men kind of thing, where these two women are going around gathering up or protecting these other women who have gained some sort of supernatural power. One of the two leads are, one of them can sort of see into the future kind of thing. She gets like visions of the future. Like so far it's been like the immediate future, like 4 minutes from now or 4 hours from now. It's not like the lotto. And another woman can see the path of electricity. So she's like really good at inventing things, and it's the fact that it's a period piece shows
It's not quite a period piece. It's definitely a little bit fantasy forward. Just an FYI.
But it's set in Victorian London. So like the horse and carriage, and all of a sudden that horse and carriage turns into a car that she designed, and to get away from the bad guys who are, of course, trying to gather up these women who have they're called the afflicted, and on the other side of that coin is these women trying to bring them to a safe space, that they have this orphanage. I enjoyed the hell out of it. I thought it was like a unique comic booky kind of story. Acting was really well done. I am curious as to see where it goes. And when I started it, I knew where this comes. I knew about the show before sitting down to watch it. And I asked Ange before we started, like, have you heard anything about this? She says no. And I went, all right, I'm not going to say anything. We're going to watch it because I know who made this, and if I was to tell you, it may slant how you see things. And we made it through, and as she said, we enjoyed it. And then at the very end, it shows written, directed, starred, videotaped it was all by Joss Whedon. And I didn't want to say that out of the gate because I didn't want that
to taint the experience.
Because I heard such good things about this show, and then all of the stuff that's coming out in the news about Joss, I wanted to get a just a blind eye to it so that you could see for what the actual show is, not who made it. And
yeah, I mean, the first words out of my mouth after he told me that Joss was a part of the show, I saw his name on the
screen.
I was like, oh shit. Like, because I really enjoyed it, and I thought that the characters were interesting and well written, and the diversity of the cast was really cool, and the action was fun, and I found the story engaging, and I wanted to know more, and like, yeah, I definitely was taken to a place that when I came back from this journey, did not expect to be looking at Joss's name on the screen, and it was.
But if you step back for a half a second, it was two strong female leads, a fantastical situation. Whether it be, this is technically Aliens, I guess.
I think so.
Situational, but it's. Like when you put all the pieces out there and you lay them out, you go, yeah, I could see this is a Joss Whedon joint. I get it. It makes sense because the stuff that he has done it fits this mold. So it's unfortunate that's what's going on in the world right now with him in the news and all that stuff. But this show is actually really good and well worth the watch.
And I'd like to point out that it seems as though the creative team does involve people other than just Joss. So it's worth if you're kind of doing the cancel culture thing and you don't really want to support anything Joss Whedon is a part of, maybe just consider looking into it for the people that worked on it who aren't him. But, do you.
So, what else? Anything else?
Yeah, we watched, we're caught up on Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Oh, yeah. We just finished watching that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, did you guys catch up on that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeebus. Okay,
I feel bad for that guy because apparently the new Cap is getting death threats because the comic community
Yeah, because people are
sucks.
idiots.
Wait, the actor?
Yes.
Yeah, the
Get the
actor.
fuck
People are
out.
hating on the actor, just like they did with the Joffrey on Game of Thrones. Like,
Yeah, but that
people
kid
just
deserved it. He was horrible. Like as a real human. No, I'm just kidding.
Stop it. Don't encourage.
people can't separate fantasy from reality, and they're morons. But yeah, no, that guy's doing. Wyatt Russell, he's doing a very good job of being an extremely hateable white guy.
Yep. There was at the very end there was that iconic scene of, I don't know if we want to spoil it, but he's just standing there and the camera is way low and they really need to avoid that upward angle at him because his brow is so jutty outy. It's so far away from his head. It makes it look so bad. It looks so uncut. But when you see him straight
He's
on,
such a weird looking dude, man.
Yeah.
He looks
When
like
you-
a totally different person from all these different angles. It's nuts.
exactly. Like straight on, he looks great as Cap. He's got the mask and it's fine. Not 100% on the stubble, but that's fine.
Not like him.
No.
Every time I
Sorry,
see a
no.
real picture of him now,
Cap.
his beard is humongous. He is a grizzly man right now.
Yeah, there's a current trailer out for the show, like in like ads and whatnot. And it's got one small scene from the next episode where like they're going to confront him because he, you know,
Yeah,
he did that thing, and then he's like, you don't want to do this, and Bucky's like, yeah, we do.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, we do.
Yeah, it was more like, the fuck we don't.
The fight scenes in, like, okay, so most of the episodes have had phenomenal fight scenes in them, but the scene in the hotel room, like, that was mind wobbling.
I'm sorry. I'm trying not to laugh. It was so good.
There was
I
one.
like how Zemo just pieces out.
That's what we were thinking too.
He was drinking something with his pinky out at one point, and then slowly like backs away into the bushes. Like he was out.
I got this hole in the bathroom over there. I'm gonna use it.
So good.
Angela at one point in time yelled at the screen saying, "You're Captain America. You should be able to get out of that." When the spear was
Oh yeah,
through the table.
Because I was like,
holding
"You're a
his
friggin'
shield."
super soldier, and that's a wooden table. Come on."
He hadn't super soldiered
doesn't.
yet, though.
Yeah, he didn't
Yeah.
hadn't
But
the
even
super
still,
serum yet.
it's a stick and a piece of wood.
I thought the
If
whole
you-
point was that they made him
No.
a super soldier like Chris Evans,
Nope,
or
they did
like.
not. He was just a
Nope.
normie. At
Wait,
the end of
he's a
this
normie.
dude.
Well,
He took the super soldier serum at the end of the episode.
Yeah, there
Yeah,
was no
because
super.
I thought they were gonna-
officially. There is no super soldier serum. It's just was invented by that guy in what's
I
that
thought
place?
they
Madripoor?
synthesized from his blood, and that's how from
no,
Steve Rogers'
they,
blood,
They
and then
tried with the black guy's blood. That's that whole story arc. That whole part where he was really mad about all the crap that he had gone through.
yeah,
Then it failed, but it was Hydra picked it up again. They started working on it. That guy, the scientist that started making the breakthroughs, blipped. So he was gone for 5 years, and everybody gave up on it. And then when he blipped back, he started up again and perfected it. That's what those
they
like
made
20
he made a bunch of them, and then the terrorists got their hands on them, and then a couple of them took it, and then when Zemo destroyed all of it, then what do they call Captain America? That's what they call him on Nerdist. He picked up one of the vials,
Yeah.
and then and then what's his name got killed, and then he took the serum to even the odds, and that's why at the end of the episode he was busting through doors and he threw the shield into the wall and stuff. Like, he was not super soldier yet. He even said that like a couple of times, like how pissed he was that he wasn't a super soldier. Like,
I thought that
And he-
I thought he wasn't. I thought he was enhanced, but not as enhanced. I didn't realize there was nothing.
No, he was just a
yeah,
really good
nothing
soldier.
at all.
No, he's just
a natural
like a war
athlete
hero.
and-
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I get for working when I watch things. Bad.
So,
Well,
yeah.
Anyway, that show's great.
And Zemo's been a true delight in this show.
Really great villaining right there. It's
Very good.
Very much enjoying this show.
My review is John Walker ain't shit, and I can't wait to see him get his ass kicked.
Karen, you were a little vague there.
Let
I
me
mean,
clear
everyone
up
knows
this
my
for you.
stance on Captain America and Chris Evans.
It's true. It's true. It's true.
Yeah.
Well, Karen,
I did- hold
what
on.
else have you been watching?
Question. The scene
what?
where Bucky lost his arm, did you all have the same reaction that I did? Like, oh, like, that shouldn't happen. She did that Vulcan thing, and all of a sudden his arm fell off.
It was more of a like, whoa, for me. I was like, shit, I didn't know that could happen.
The look on his face, he was so sad. All right, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I didn't watch a lot of anything with outside of what you and I have done together, dear. Because I had the kids on spring break last week, so I'm exhausted.
Adventures.
I took them to my mother's house for a couple of days, and so I did watch one thing with her that I never would have occurred to me to watch. It was a mini documentary series on Netflix called Pretend It's a City.
Okay.
It's have you guys heard of Fran Lebowitz?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So it is a documentary / biography type series about her. And it's basically just her complaining about things.
Awesome.
Okay.
So like the title of the show, Pretend It's a City, comes from her advice to New York tourists, which she gives in like the opening part of the first episode, which is like she can't stand it when she's walking through New York and tourists stop in the middle of the sidewalk to look at a map or take a selfie or whatever, ask for directions. She just wants to look at them and go, pretend it's a city. Like, pretend people live here and have to work here and have to get around, and not like that it's just here for your, entertainment or whatever on your vacation. Pretend it's a city. I will say that all of her takes are very, witty. Some are very boomery, like she doesn't like cell phones. I mean, she's my mother's age, so I looked her up on Wikipedia. I'm like, oh, she and my mom were born in the same year. And so like some things are very just like, nope, I'm 70 and this is like how I am and this is what I don't like, and you damn kids and your music.
Get off my lawn.
And others things that are more like deeper observations or more, I felt, resonated better with me. And it did make me miss New York a lot. Because we used to live up there, and we lived near New York for a long time and spent a lot of time in it. And I worked there, and Chris lived there, and it did make me miss the city and all the wonderful and terrible things about it. But I don't know that I'll keep watching it because it's kind of like, it's not the most like fun, light, entertaining thing. It's just like a bunch of witty, wry, kind of dark. I don't know. I wouldn't call it a happy or hopeful show. It's just kind of like,
It's a grumbly show.
the world sucks, and this is all. These are all the terrible things, and I'm right, and everyone is. I don't know. So then we followed that up with some Great British Baking Show because my mom had never seen that, and she was like, "You watch this all the time. I want to see what it's all about." And of course, my mom's on keto, so she was like, "Is this going to make me want to eat a lot of baked goods?" I'm like, "It's the Great British Baking Show. Like, they spend an hour baking a bunch of cakes or a bunch of cookies or a bunch of pies. Yes, it's going to make you want to eat those things." And then she watched it anyway, so I don't know.
How did she feel
And she's
about
not on
it?
keto anymore.
Right?
Oh, she's on keto and she looks great.
Good for her.
Yeah. So yeah, outside of that, it just basically what Chris and I have been watching with the kids, which is more Justice League and a shit ton of My Little Pony.
Okay.
Like, but the same fucking 3 episodes of My Little Pony
Quality
until I want to
television.
stab my eyes out. The Justice League has been going strong, going good.
Nice.
Ellie is now like, she's very hardcore into Wonder Woman, and we got her a Wonder Woman backpack for school, and she's freaking out about it.
Yes.
It came with a little like wrist cuffs and a lasso, and she's
Oh my
like,
God. That's so precious.
it's really adorable. I'm like, I'm looking at Target's website, and I'm like, there's a lot of rainbow and a lot of unicorn and a lot of pink, but like, what if I just show her the Wonder Woman one and don't show her anything else? And she picked it, and I was like, yes.
Phenomenal. Takeaway choices, get what you want.
Yes. Hey, do you like this thing? I do. Okay, done.
Hey, do you like this thing? Yeah, you do. Come on. So, Chris, what about you? Anything?
Well, I talked about this a bunch on Stone Age Gamer, so if you also to listen to that show, then sorry for the duplication. I finished watching the Playing with Power documentary series on Crackle. It is, I still definitely, I like the beginning more than I like the end of it. It definitely maintained a degree of quality throughout. It was really, really interesting in the early stuff, and as I guess the games industry became more complicated, they didn't do a very good job of, I guess, telling that story, where they left they were definitely painting a narrative, and it didn't necessarily jive with reality always. It did a pretty good job, but for example, there was Nintendo always had these two different markets. They had their home console market and their handheld market, and they released the Wii U, which did not fare very well. And at the same time, they released the 3DS, which initially didn't fare very well. And then in a rather remarkable move that no American company would ever do, they slashed the price of the system. And the president of the company and most of the higher-ups took giant pay cuts to cover the losses, and they turned it around and made the 3DS one of the most successful systems ever. They didn't mention that at all. They, in fact, didn't even mention Satoru Iwata too much, who was the guy who was the president of the company throughout their industry-changing Blue Ocean strategy of the Wii and the DS with stuff like Brain Age and Wii Sports. They didn't really mention that. They just did stuff like the Wii U was a failure, so that generation Nintendo was in big trouble. Well, they kind of weren't. The Wii U was a failure, but they were making crap loads of money on the 3DS. They were in no trouble. They had trillions of dollars in the bank. There's no danger here. And then there's also stuff like they were talking about how the PlayStation came out and took over the industry, but then Nintendo released the Wii and then they won. But that's not really how that happened. The Wii sold really well, but the PlayStation kind of was still owning the industry at that point. They left a lot of really they were painting a very Nintendo positive picture by the end, and even as somebody who loves Nintendo as much as me, it wasn't always entirely accurate. And that was somewhat bothersome. Another one of the big problems I had was that as the show went on, they would take these snippets from interviews, and they would use the same phrase, the same exact clip of an interview, but with different context to make it sound like it was meaning different things. Did they forget that they used this clip already? Because they would have somebody say something, and I wish I could remember an exact example. I didn't write it down, but it definitely happened more than once where I was like, okay, I remember this person saying these things that sound vague, and they were about something else entirely. So at one time they're saying and then they came out and they just beat the competition, and it was about Nintendo beating Sega, and then it would be 3 episodes later, the same exact clip of the same exact guy saying those same exact words, except now they're talking about Nintendo taking on Saturn or something like that.
Right.
What? I watched the show. I made it to episode 6, so I've seen the other ones. Who are you trying to fool? Or did you just forget? This is really bad editing right here. I still heartily recommend it. It's a very interesting watch, and especially the beginning stuff of it is really, really interesting, and not stories that are told all that often. You're learning about Nintendo before they got into the video game stuff, but by the end, they really kind of ran out of steam, and I just don't think they had... The games industry was a lot simpler back when it started. It's really complicated now, and I don't think they did a very good job of reining in that complication and taking all the factors into effect on what makes them special. I had this other problem with one of the guys that was on there, Tommy Tallarico, was very much trying to sell his new Amico console, and You could tell that the way it was edited, because he never said the word Amico, and it was either he wouldn't shut up about it during the interviews and they cut around it, or he
Right.
was just trying to cleverly repeat his sales pitch for the Amico without actually saying the words, so that you want to hear my thoughts on that, go ahead and listen to this week's episode of Stone Age Gamer, because I have some thoughts on that particular greasy point of view. But
I've actually unfollowed Brett on YouTube for a minute. Like, I'm pausing out because of that whole Amico.
yeah, he's really on board with the Amico, and
It's too much.
Tommy Tallarico said, we had him on Stone Age Gamer podcast, and he said who he's marketing this platform to. He's making a new video game console, and he's marketing it towards like Midwestern moms and people who don't know anything about the games industry. And he's doing it by painting a false narrative. He's rewriting history to sell his shit. And he's doing it to people who are never going to do the research or don't know any better. So he says Nintendo made the Wii and they sold all these systems, but then they never made any games to follow up on Wii Sports. Why not? Like, but they did. They sold millions upon millions of copies of Wii Fit and Wii Play and Wii Sports Resort and Mario Kart Wii and New Super Mario Brothers. And then, you know, some shovelware like Carnival games came out. That's like 7 different games for this platform, and that's where people stopped wanting the system.
But why didn't they do more, Chris?
That was the thing. He's painting this narrative like the reason the people who never liked video games in the first place stopped playing the Wii was because they didn't give them more games. Like, that's not what happened. They bought it to do bowling. They bought it to do that thing, and then they did that thing, and that was enough.
They're done. Yeah.
The majority of the people weren't looking at their system thinking, boy, I sure wish there was something else for me to do with this thing. No, they were watching Netflix on that thing, because that was the other thing the Wii did. It's at any
another
rate,
talk for
this character is out there painting this weird picture of the way the games industry works right now. Like, local multiplayer isn't a thing. They're bringing it back. Like, the Switch literally has break-off controllers so you can take it and play multiplayer anywhere. Like, that's the point of the thing. But he's telling this to people who don't know any better, and they're going to trust him because he knows better, right? He's been in the industry forever. So, oh, this guy's telling me this. Yeah, what is up with that Wii? Why isn't his mom buying a new Nintendo Switch? Yeah. And it's gross, and I'm hugely disappointed in it. But whatever. Playing with power is a pretty fun thing.
Quick summary. How'd you feel about Monster Hunter?
Oh my god. Dan made us watch the Monster Hunter movie on Stone Age Gamer, and it was bad. Freaking awful.
It was wonderful.
The podcast was amazing. I was laughing.
I'm glad you were.
Oh,
I thought
man.
the movie was garbage. I mean,
It's
it
funny
wasn't
'cause
the worst thing I've ever seen, but
I
it
think
certainly wasn't.
Dan's kids' descriptions of it, or the
Yeah, 3.5 out of 10 and a 20 out of 10. I
Side
agreed
with
with
the
the first
20.
one who said 3.5 out of 10 because that cat was like just about the only cool thing in it. Movie was just, I don't want to go all the way into it because I'll just be going at it for.
unanswered questions at the end.
I wanted it on our podcast because we had to listen to another podcast to hear you talk about it, and man, was I ready.
It does. It does. Here's the biggest damning thing about it. It does the thing that I hate when movies do, where they some studio gets a property, but they have no faith that the property is going to do anything on its own. We have to change something about it. We have to relate it to the real world, because you can't have a Smurfs movie where we're just like in the Smurf world and there's super cool Smurf stuff happening. No, we gotta pull it into our world. There's gotta be Smurfs in New York City. That's the ticket, right? And so they did that stupid crap with Monster Hunter. Like, we live in a world where Game of Thrones exists and was like hugely popular. Lord of the Rings, the Witcher, like these things exist. They're hugely popular. You don't need to do this whole let's cross over into our world thing. See, that way we can put the U.S. military in there and blow shit up with tanks and hoorah. And well,
See, and the problem is that as I watched that movie, I didn't know that wasn't part of the game because I've never played that game.
Yeah, as
I
somebody who's
immediately
played
thought Mila
about
Jovovich was actually in the game.
yeah, I've played like all of 4 hours of Monster Hunter, and I was like, no, honey, that's not how it started.
Yeah, you've played more than I have. I've played like maybe 15 minutes of the Monster Hunter 3 demo, but I've been around the game for a long time, and I understand that it's not set in the United States of America. It's a fantasy. It's a fantasy epic. You just needed to have them hunt monsters and make shit out of the monsters. That's what the game is. Make a movie about that.
Listen, maybe it's sent in Fantasy America. You don't know.
Clearly, because the giant dust storm is what pulled them in to fight Rathalos and Ron Perlman's
I was
ridiculous
so upset
hairstyle.
that Dan knew all the names of the monsters. All of them.
And you know how he knows them? Puzzle and Dragons.
Really?
There was a Monster Hunter crossover with Puzzle and Dragons, so of course he knows all the monsters' names.
Of course he does. Yeah, he does.
More importantly, though, so Karen and I started watching Invincible.
Son of a bitch.
God damn it! Okay.
We watched the first episode together, and I really liked it.
Okay.
And Karen enjoyed it, I think, well enough.
I did. There's a tonal shift in towards the end of the episode, and like before the tonal shift, it was a little too I don't know. I liked it, but I was like, what is happening here? Like, this is very nice.
Yeah, it was fine.
And then in the very end of the episode, it was like very not nice and very dark, and I was like, oh, okay. Well, I don't think there's any coming back from this tone they have now switched to, so I'm not sure if I want to continue. That was how I felt about it.
So
Interesting.
have you guys watched any of it yet?
Not yet.
No.
Okay. All right. So yes, first
But I've read
episode
the
is
comics.
very
Just
it's very TV show. It's very all right. This is fine. I don't get what the big deal is though, right? Because we're watching it and it's like it's an interesting-ish superhero-y kind of thing. But I mean, people I know are like, no, this is Invincible's like the best superhero thing ever. It's amazing. And I'm like, all right, this is cool. And then like I'm talking, it's like the last minute of the first episode, and it's just like 90-degree turn, like yeah. So
Like if the show was a car and it made that turn, you would get car sick.
yeah,
Oh, God.
It was some whiplash right there. It was really something. Anyway, she went to take the kids on spring break, and I let's see. I finished
got
watching the playing with power thing, and I was like, all right, well, I'll keep watching this on my own. And so I watched the second episode and was like, there's a whole other cast of characters now. This is pretty interesting. So I watched everything that was available
You
while
watched
she was
3 more episodes.
yeah. So there's like three more episodes while she was gone, and then she came back and I was like, you should watch the second episode and see if you still feel the same way, because it got a lot more interesting and it leveled out from that like meh to whoa. It's like it really mellowed out into this really interesting place, and fortunately she did like it, and we kept up with it.
Nice. Well,
The reason I was stuttering is because it does seem that Mr. Vestlord Dean DeFalco beat my game. I think he finally beat my Mario Maker.
Oh boy.
What?
Oh, that's fantastic.
I mean, yay, good for him. I guess.
So,
I kind of wanted that to be the thing that went on forever. I'm not gonna lie.
He was on the last level last night, right after we finished recording SAG. Mike popped on to say like, "Yo, Dean's on your last level now," and I watched him play for a while, and he didn't quite make it, and he just messaged me right now a picture which I think means that he finished it. Either way, good for him. But anyway, yeah. So Invincible is kind of amazing, and it is a really interesting show that I'm hoping is doing well.
well, isn't it an Amazon show?
It's an Amazon show.
So it's
And,
done. They're gonna get it. Yeah.
I talked to Dan about this last night, how I really appreciate Amazon's, where you can just kind of tap and see who's in every scene. Like, you can just tap on the Apple TV remote and it'll bring up a little menu of like, these are all the actors in this scene and who they're playing.
Interesting.
Which is super cool. And they'll also do the same thing for music. If there's music playing in a scene, you can tap it and it'll say this is the name of the song that's playing in the background, which is really, really cool. Especially for something that's animated. And this is what I think is incredibly interesting about Invincible and why I hope that it's doing well, because in light of something like The Boys that's been ridiculously successful and is seems to be kind of a similar-esque type of comic book situation, that's live action. And live action stuff resonates with more people on a different level. Like, Karen's not as into animation. It's just a lot of adults aren't as into animation and they don't take it as seriously. And this show being animated, I feel like is, on one hand, kind of a disservice. Like, I think to myself, boy, wouldn't it be awesome if this was in live action? Because I feel like a lot more people would be into this because it's a very bright and colorful animated thing. It looks very comic booky. So I hope that isn't pulling it back, because doing this live action would be impossible, not without compromising it, because it is, the budget would be unfathomable to pull this off in any sort of convincing manner, or you would have to compromise considerably the crazy shit that goes on in the show.
I do want to point out that have you looked at the comic?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it mimics very much the comic style, which I thought was kind of one of the tropes of the series, was the fact that it's beautifully, brightly colored, and there are moments where the story is incredibly dark.
Absolutely.
So
it's wonderful, but you know what I
Yeah.
mean, where if this was in live action, it would reach a broader audience.
Yes.
Like, it's just a matter of fact. But on the other hand, you've got the talent that's involved. Like, the main character's half Asian, and he falls in love. His main love interest seems to be a black girl. Like, there's a very diverse cast here, and that is also something I feel would be more powerful in live action. But if this was in live action, you wouldn't be able to use the voice talent that they have, because these voice actors that are attached to all of these characters don't really look the parts.
Right.
Particularly, why am I drawing a blank on his name? Because I keep wanting to call him Emil Skoda, because that was his character on Law and Order.
J.K. Simmons?
J.K. Simmons. J.K. Simmons is playing, Omni-Man, and J.K. Simmons couldn't physically do that role.
But when you look at
J.K.
Omni-Man's
Simmons is ripped.
face, when you look at Omni-Man's face, you're like, oh, that's J.K. Simmons. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I just think at this point he's ripped, but I think he might be a little too old. I mean, at least to do it convincingly,
Hey, Dad.
without more special effects. I don't know, but he's perfect for the part, like, vocally. It's amazing. I don't know. I really recommend the show. Just kind of be prepared for some fucked upness. It is from Robert Kirkman, so it's, the Walking Dead levels of fucked up, but
Nice.
not the Walking Dead TV show levels of intentionally fucking with the audience. At least not so far.
Have you seen anything about Jupiter's Legacy?
I have not. That was getting turned into a TV show. God,
Live action
years
TV
ago,
show.
right?
Well, it's currently now a live action TV show. I don't know if it's actually started. It's on. It's going to be on Netflix. This is 2021. Let's see if they aired any. No, not out yet. May. So it comes out next month. Yeah. But Jupiter's Legacy was one of my favorite indie comics to come out when it did. I'm so curious. I thought they would do a animated version like they did with Invincible because of the cast of characters, and some of it gets a little rough. But they went live action. I can't wait to see that. Like, it looks like they're going for it, which is what I was hoping for.
I love this whole going for it thing that we seem to have going on here with comic book TV shows. Like,
Yeah, especially
regardless
the indie
of its
properties.
animated format, Invincible is really going for it. They are not pulling any punches on that show.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping for, because the original comic, while it is extremely violent, was raw and gritty and just, I don't know. I liked it for what it was. It's been like 10 years since I've looked at an Invincible book, though, so.
145 issues that book ran to its conclusion, something like that.
I just feel the need to point out in the link that I just sent you guys that J.K. Simmons has been working out, you guys. He could play Omni-Man. He'd need a shave, but
Oh
he
my
could do
Like,
it.
that was a couple of years ago.
Well,
Even if
the
he
interview
lost
that was
some form.
attached, the interview that was attached to that said that he's committed to like staying in shape now, since that couple years ago that he took that picture.
Wait, am I supposed to look at a
Fair
trip?
enough.
Where is
No,
this?
it's in the chat.
Yeah, I looked in that.
This week's
did I click
episode,
on
not
the wrong
news.
Thing? Hold on. Playing with my emotions.
It looks that
Whoa. No, I'm sorry. Get away from me, Grandpa. No.
it's the beard. It's the beard, yeah.
It is the beard.
God, he's scary, Klaus. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it.
That's that Bill Goldberg movie when he's Killer Santa Claus. That's it right there.
All right, everybody. If we don't have anything else important, we should probably take ourselves a quick break
I got
because we've got a
one-
lot of news to cover. Anybody else?
One
Anything?
last little
Was it-
thing.
Okay.
Angie and I watched the movie Demolition Man for some reason, and I needed to ask you guys a question. Like, we sat down, we watched it, something happened in the middle of it that threw me. Have you guys seen the movie Demolition Man?
No, sir.
God, not a long time. I don't
Okay,
really
Chris.
remember it.
They're not going to know how to use the seashells.
Chris, who
I have no
won?
idea how to use the seashells.
Who won the restaurant wars?
Taco Bell.
Okay, so apparently the version that I was watching was from another region,
Yeah.
and it wasn't Taco Bell, it was Pizza Hut. So every time they say Taco Bell, they don't change the mouth, they voice over Pizza Hut. And they go to a Taco Bell, and it still says Taco Bell in the background, but they keep saying that they're at Pizza Hut, and it really bothers me.
That's weird.
Very weird.
That's
Apparently,
like one of the few things I remember from that movie was the whole Taco Bell won the fast food wars thing. That's weird.
Yeah, just thought I'd share, just in case anybody else watches it from another region. They're like, what? No.
It was
Pizza
freaking
Hut.
bizarre.
It was weird.
Because I didn't realize it, and then he was like, wait a second.
I actually Googled that. Like, wait a minute. I know Taco Bell won the restaurant wars. But that's it.
Was it since the last time we recorded that we finished Resident Alien?
Oh my
yeah.
God. I've been wanting to talk about it, and I was like, don't bring it up. Don't bring it up. You've talked too much. Oh my God. Please tell me you guys are caught up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we finished it.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Goddamn National Treasure, that man. He really is so good. This is some bullshit.
It's apparently been greenlit for a season 2, which is great. And
Okay.
I'm very curious to see where it's going to go.
I was glad with that last minute reveal at the end of the last episode because, like, I felt like they tied it up pretty well, and I was like, I don't see a reason for him to go back to Earth. And then,
Ange
oh.
called it.
Yeah, I got to start saying this stuff out loud because I've gotten better at like openly predicting where plots are going. Just as like a fun game, because I was getting a little frustrated with the episode because I was like, okay, like she just told him off and now she's like, wait, save the planet. No, we're friends. It's fine. And I'm like, I get that you were pissed, but like also really? Like that's okay. And then it was like, wait, just kidding, Harry, everything's great. And I was like, is it? I just struggled with that a little bit and I was like, all right, this is not fully resolved right now. This is definitely not going to be fully resolved. And then they brought, the whole like twist at the end into it. And I was like, all right, cool. Hopefully they will carry some of this into the next season because they need to. Like, I feel like they're going to have some unresolved issues. And if they don't, I'll be mad because the writing has been so good until now that it would be a stupid thing for them to like overlook.
I definitely felt something similar with that, with her kind of like
Flip-flopping.
coming around on him.
Yeah.
The way it made sense in my head, which they didn't really explain in the show, but the way it kind of made sense in my head was like she knows he's an alien, and she also knows that at the time when he killed the dude, to him and his culture, it wasn't wrong. Like, murder isn't wrong. He didn't learn that murder was wrong until he became human. So for her to hold that against him, maybe at least that's how I was reading that heel turn. Like, she kind of came to grips with the fact that this is who he is now. I have to look at this not like he was a dude who killed a dude. He was an alien who did what aliens do, and then he learned differently.
Okay,
That's how I kind of rationalized that.
Here's my counter to that. Has the show made you rationalize other behaviors thus far?
Yes. The police, Big Black. You have to rationalize everything that man does.
Yeah, okay. Well, he is the real alien. No, I mean everything about Harry or Alan Tudyk's character or his relationships. Why am I blanking on her name right now? Asta, thank you. Yeah, like all of the stuff that has happened, that has occurred with character growth and relationship changes and developments, I felt like they fleshed everything out really well throughout the entirety of this series until this episode. And that was kind of why I was like, I understand what you're saying, but they've done a better job with those behavior changes and realizations up till now.
The way that scene played to me was more that wasn't necessarily genuine on her part, that she was just saying what she needed to say to get him to not blow up the planet.
Right?
Yeah,
but then,
there
like,
could definitely have been flavors of that too, with no doubt.
You don't think Harry would have kind of seen through that at that
Nope.
point, though? Because
No, I don't
He's
think so.
understood before.
He wanted that too bad.
Okay.
He wanted her like that. He wanted that relationship, and then when she turned him down, that's when he was going to fulfill his plan. Like his emotions have always been on Front Street as soon as he figured out what the emotion was. Mm-hmm. Like that was the part. Like he didn't express himself very much because his character didn't know what was going on. He was rationalizing to himself the things that he was going through. There are so many unanswered questions in this show that it needs a second season. Never mind the twist at the end to get him back, but the wife who's gone, the fact that Harry,
The real Harry.
Vanderspiegel, the real one.
Oh yeah,
killed
he was the one that
doctor.
actually was the murderer.
Yeah.
Like the best friend, the skier girl. I want to say Kate.
Darcy.
Darcy. Saw the dead body. Like she's now knows what's going on, and her relationship with Asta's daughter is a whole thing. Like there's so many threads that they have now. Like I felt at the last maybe 2 episodes they knew they were getting a season 2, and they just went, here you go, this is setting up for the next season.
Have fun, nerds.
Here's the threads, check it out.
Yeah, I'm into it. I'm super
Great
into
show.
it.
Mm-hmm.
Yet again, I will state Alan Tudyk, national goddamn treasure.
We have not stopped saying that. We might be saying it too much. I don't know. I'm not sorry.
And you don't have to be, because he is a national treasure.
That's right.
Okay, with that, we are going to take ourselves a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the news. You are listening to this week's episode on Geekade.com. Stick around. And now, here's a quick look at some of the other original content available now from our partners and Geekade.com.
First up, did you like the last Mutant Musings special? Well, that's good, because we've got another one all primed and ready for your ear holes. This time, Jonathan and Patty landed a surprise interview with none other than Gerry Duggan. I probably said that wrong. Comic book writer extraordinaire. He's written The Hulk, Batman, Deadpool, Doctor Strange, and tons more. So, what's he doing on an X-Men podcast? I wonder what it could be. You'll just have to listen to the podcast to see if he drops any bombshells about his upcoming projects. Don't miss Mutant Musings Evolution, episode 7.1, interview with Gerry Duggan.
Next, for the Super Mario 35th anniversary last year, Chris decided to do 3 new Waveback Over playlists over the over the course of a couple of months. Over a year, wow, there's a lot of overs. Over a year later, he finally finished it because it also happens to be really... I'm going to start this over because I first read this with the eyes in there, and I put that in there. Next, for the Super Mario 35th anniversary last year, Chris decided to do 3 new Waveback Overplay playlists over the course of a couple of months. Over a year later, he finally finished it because he is also happens to be really good at procrastinating. This year, he's decided to go the opposite direction and celebrate the Metroid anniversary early, mostly because he's playing Metroid games and it sounded like fun. And wouldn't you know it, it was fun. He mashed up the soundtracks from the original Metroid for NES and the spectacular Metroid Zero mission for Game Boy Advanced. The results were pretty wild. Check out Waveback Overplay Metroid Zero.
Zero.
Check out Waveback Overplay Metroid Zero mission on the wave. Why is this so hard for me to say? Take 47.
Antipathy.
And apathy. Check out Waveback Overplay Metroid Zero. Why? I want to stop there.
Why?
I don't know. Okay.
No.
There you go. Here, try that. Metroid Zero mission.
Check out Waveback Overplay Metroid Zero mission on the Waveback Overplay YouTube channel. God damn it, that was painful.
I'm gonna need a minute.
I may just cut that all out and re-record it when you guys aren't here.
No, that is not how we do
Sweating.
these. It's more fun to make people listen to you mess up over and over and over again.
That is why they wanted us to do these again.
Ooh, okay. Sorry, Karen. Go for it.
Don't laugh, you guys.
Don't do that. Okay.
Finally, are you looking for some live entertainment after dark? We've got a friend who does some regular late night Twitch streaming on Twitch. Nope.
Close enough.
Twitch streaming on Twitch, guys. It's a thing.
Listen, I'm loving DJ Karen. Let's do it.
We've got a friend who does some regular late night streaming on Twitch. We know him as Brian, but on the internets, he's simply the Rouch. From Rocket League to, well, I'm sure there's plenty of other stuff too. The Rouch provides some quality Twitch streaming entertainment. He's a super nice guy too. So, head on over to twitch.tv/TheRouch, that's TheRowch, and give the fella a subscribe while you're there. The Rouch would approve.
Nailed it.
For all this great content and more from us and our partners, be sure to keep your eyes on Geekade.com. And we're back. Welcome back to the stage of history. We are going to talk about some news, because that's what we do on this show, and we're going to start with something from themarysue.com. Let's see. Native representation shines in new comedy Rutherford Falls. What's this about?
It's a new show from Mike Schur of The Good Place and Brooklyn Nine-Nine and Parks and Rec. It's about a small town. The leader, or the is he the mayor? Something like that.
The trailer.
I don't know.
think
He's
it's
just an
a guy.
ancestor of
Descendant
one
of the town founder.
Yeah.
Is in conflict with the indigenous community where his town was built. Includes some indigenous, cast members, and provide some good, and I think in the writer's room as well. So some good representation for a community that is not widely represented on a lot of shows. Although I will say that was one of the things we liked so much about Resident Alien, was that it brought in really good Native American characters without beating you over the head that they were Native American, or they were really authentic. So it's nice to see that happening more.
True.
especially on a network show.
It looks funny. I mean, it's
I mean, yeah, it's Mike Sure. It's going to be funny. We're gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it.
what's the main guy's name? I'm blanking.
Ed Helms?
Ed Helms. I like Ed Helms. He's a funny guy.
And the fact that they have not just a diversity of cast, but like the writing, writers, like the fact that it's the largest native writers room. What is it in television right now?
I would think so. I mean,
I can't remember what they said in the article, but yeah, it's a big deal because the inclusivity is not just what you're seeing on screen. It's literally built into the structure of how the show is being run. And because of the number of people, like the shows that they mentioned, like you were talking about Mike Sure, but also they mentioned, in addition to The Good Place, Parks and Rec, and Brooklyn Nine-Nine, they mentioned Superstore. So that covers 4 television shows that I think between the 4 of us are beloved and extremely relevant to at least some aspect of our sensibility or humor. So I'm looking forward to this because basically anything that he puts out seems to be pretty awesome, and I like the fact that we'll actually have real inclusivity all throughout this creation, like the creative process.
yeah. The thing is, you can't tell these stories without involving the people that they're about. Because when you do that, if you try to do it without them, then it just doesn't come off authentic. And I've seen it in too many things to mention. So this is awesome.
Agreed.
Here.
Next up,
Speaking of
from
awesome,
speaking of awesome, this comes to us from Variety.com. Justified team reunites to develop Elmore Leonard novel at FX. Timothy Olyphant rumored to return as Raylan Givens. Yes, please.
Oh my God! Put it in my face right now.
Givens me all of that.
What's going in your face, Karen?
given.
I love Justified. That show was phenomenal, top to bottom, and yeah, Boyd Crowder is in Invincible, for crying out loud. It took me way too long to piece that together, but anyway, yeah, I didn't realize that I knew Justified was based on an Elmore Leonard novel. I didn't realize there was more of them with that character in it. So yeah, if they bring Raylan Givens back in a TV show, it's got to be Timothy Olyphant.
Yeah, nobody else could do it.
Or
And
we
he
won't allow
basically
it.
is him in like everything he does. He was the same character in the
Mandalorian.
Mandalorian.
Space Raylan Givens.
Space Raylan Givens. Gotta love it.
Also, not for nothing, I would watch that show.
Yeah. Yes. Yep,
Yes.
yep.
I will be honest with you guys. I've only seen a few episodes of Justified. I really liked what I saw, but I never got especially far. Just reasons at the time that I started watching it. But this sounds like a good reason for me to get on that.
I've watched a lot of it. I don't know how much though. Like I
Timothy
remember-
Olyphant is a pretty good reason to get on that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, hey, by himself, yes.
I mean, there's reasons to get on Timothy Olyphant. So
Timothy off with his pants.
yes, please. I think this is a great rumor, and I want it to be true.
Ditto.
Meanwhile, also from Variety.com, Bill Nye to host Peacock Science Series, Brandon Braga and Seth MacFarlane to produce. We were also talking a little bit about this on SAG last night, how Peacock is terrible.
Yeah.
Apparently, as an app itself, it is garbage. But and really, I've never used it, like ever. I've never once launched the service because there's nothing there that I need to see and can't get in other places. And it's called Peacock, which just goes to show you how much thought they put into this service to begin with.
Cock. Sorry, what?
Wow.
Thumbs down. Anyway, Bill Nye is going to host a science series. And I don't know who Brandon Braga is, but if Seth MacFarlane is producing it, that could either be great or terrible. So I don't know, man. What do you think of this?
I'm always down for Bill Nye bringing more science to the peoples.
Can I be really honest with you guys?
Okay.
I saw him curse, and I don't like it. I struggle. I know he's a normal human being, just like everybody else, but to me, he's a science hero, and I'm struggling a little with this normal man version of Bill Nye.
I love the name. The end is nigh.
Yes, that is great.
Yeah, and the synopsis I find pretty good too. The each episode of the show dives into the myths and realities of both natural and unnatural threats, from viruses to volcanoes, asteroids to authoritarianism, and climate change to chemical warfare. The show offers a scientific blueprint for surviving, mitigating, and preventing such catastrophes from occurring. So it looks like, yeah, it's based on science, but it's also bringing in a lot of other aspects of the world that are affected by or affect science that you wouldn't normally think of as science topics, which is good because people need to know more about those sorts of things.
Yeah, I like the idea. Like, as an adult, I'm looking for more Bill Nye content, so this is fine by me. Even if it's not the same as it was in my youth.
It's just not the fucking same.
It's just not. Well, I mean, Bill Nye got pretty angry because people kept ignoring all the
I
science.
was just gonna say, because no one fucking listened. Yeah, sorry. We love you.
Nobody
Bill
learned
Nye.
a thing from his show, and that's sad. Anyway, so this link that we have in here is broken, but I went and looked up the trailer elsewhere. It still exists. The trailer for Kung Fu, the reboot of Kung Fu on the CW, showed up. I'm glad it doesn't star a white guy anymore. That's kind of cool.
Yes, it's CW'd. So I don't know.
Keep your expectations low? I don't know. I don't even think that's the case,
I don't
though.
know much about the original Kung Fu, but wasn't it always kind of schlocky? Like, wasn't that kind of the point? It was an old, serialized TV show?
But it wasn't schlocky back then. It was meant to be something, and it ended, now it's schlocky. But, it was, a man out of place, learning bringing his ways of justice to the world. It was a thing. I don't know what they're going to do on the CW with it. I'm just cautiously optimistic. I hope they do a good job because, I have loved a lot of the shows that they have picked up for at least 2 seasons and then fell off most of them. So
I liked it
yeah,
for
I
this
don't know,
long.
man. I didn't really have any interest in this one, so I hope it's good. I hope you tell me it's good because I don't plan on watching it.
I'll watch it with you, babe.
yay.
All right.
All right, let's move on here. This is a sad one. Vanity Fair reports, rest in peace, Jessica Walter, patron saint of shitty mothers.
She was such a great woman, though. Honestly, there's not a lot of celebrity deaths that occur where I'm like, oh man, this really upsets me, and because I feel such a disconnect. But this one, I don't know, there was an attachment there that I didn't know I had, because the second I saw that, I was like, what? No. I love the roles that she has played. She was the best thing about Arrested Development for me. I did not actually love that show, but I loved her on that show, and she made Archer. She really did. I don't think I fully realized that until I thought about the show without her as the voice on there, and I don't know how to, nope, I can't even process this right now. I have to stop talking.
Speaking of Archer, real quick, we were watching an episode of Suburgatory, and the main character goes on a date with this other woman from the show, and she brings her life coach on the date with them, and it's H. John Benjamin.
So
and so he's
great.
sitting at the dinner table with them, sitting in the back seat, but he's looking very schlocky, as we saw. And that voice, it's so. If you think Bob's Burger when you see him, it's okay. If you think Archer when you see him, it's off-putting.
It's real weird.
It's uncomfortable.
I will never not think Coach McGurk. So
There you go. That'll work too.
What is Coach McGurk?
From Home Movies.
I didn't
I'll
know
show
that.
you.
Okay, moving on then. Sorry.
yeah, that was kind of like H. John Benjamin's first major
Breakout
breakout
performance.
role, I think.
Really?
It
Yeah,
was-
that's what I'll always know him from before anything else. And that they say what you will about that show, Coach McGurk is a goddamn delight. I love the show in general, but Coach McGurk is always amazing.
Yes, I will concur with that. I will second that.
Oh boy,
All right.
that's got to be one of my picks soon. The episode where he has to sleep.
Wait, what? All right, I'll just make Evan show me. It's fine.
I'll show you.
Oh, I'm just cracking myself up. Ah, good times. Yes, rest in peace, Jessica Walter. That's it's quite sad. So moving on, we have this showed up on Twitter. There was some Star Wars news that popped up. Production begins soon on Obi-Wan Kenobi special event series coming to Disney Plus, and we've got pictures of the cast. We have Ewan McGregor and Hayden I Hate Sam Christensen. We have Moses Ingram. She was on Watchmen, right? Is that where I know her from? No.
I don't
Where
know.
do I know her from?
I can't tell you what I know her from, but I know her.
Joel Edgerton. Okay. Bonnie P.S. Kumail Nanjiani. I know that one. Indira Varma. She looks super familiar.
She was in Game of Thrones.
Yep. Okay. Got that. Rupert Friend. He does not look like a friend.
He looks like James Bond or a pirate. I don't know.
Piratey.
O'Shea Jackson Jr., Sung Kang, Simone Kessel, and Benny Safdie. So take with that what you will. I
Hayden
know
Christensen.
almost none of these people.
I just realized that, like, because the thumbnail that shows up in the stream, I got excited because, like, I like Kumail Nanjiani. Like, oh, great, Star Wars, good for him. Oh, Hayden Christensen.
Did you ever watch Fast and the Furious? Like any of the movies, specifically I think it's the fourth one,
Very much
Tokyo
no.
Drift one. No,
I have seen them, yeah.
I thought he was from that.
Kumail?
Han Lu in the Fast and the Furious franchise.
Who are you talking about? You're talking about
Sung Kang. Yeah.
He's the guy he's in a lot of them, and he's always eating.
Oh, okay. Well, I knew
Okay.
I recognized him. Didn't know that was why, but that's why.
Was Gal Gadot in Fast and Furious? No. There's okay, moving on.
I wish I would watch everything she's in. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know. Hayden Christensen makes me very, very nervous.
Yeah.
He's a lot older now, so...
Time has
I don't
passed.
know.
Maybe things can be improved upon, and
Well, it's not like he's going to get any worse. I mean,
Don't
no offense
say
to the
that,
guy
Chris.
personally. I'm sure he's a delight, but he will never have not ruined those movies for me. Him and the script.
there you go. So maybe this time it will be better. You know, you should definitely get your hopes up. I'm sure it'll be great.
I'm hearing songs of strains of a song from Cabaret in my head. Maybe this time.
On the other hand, continuing the Star Wars news from Nerdist.com, we finally got a new Bad Batch trailer introducing its misfit heroes yet again because they've already been introduced in Clone Wars. Yeah, I don't know, man. I love Clone Wars. There's something about this that just isn't really hitting for me. But the trailer showed that a Ming-Na's character that was introduced in Mandalorian is going to show up on this
Yeah,
show.
that was cool.
So that's kind of cool. I mean, I'm going to watch it. It's a Star Wars show. Of course I'm going to watch it. But
Yeah, you are.
I wasn't exactly in love with this crew when it showed up on the show as the backdoor pilot. So, you know, is what it is. Looks neat, I suppose.
I watched this trailer, and the thing I came away from it with was John's gonna like this. This is a show for a 7-year-old boy.
Oh, look. We got our newest email from Sean Doyle.
I see it. I
Yeah.
saw it. Did you see the score rankings?
There's score rankings. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes.
I didn't even try on the last one. Okay, so our friend Sean has been sending us emails where he picks a random letter of the alphabet and lists all the best songs that start with that letter.
Man, to have that
I
kind of
didn't
time.
try with Z.
hell?
I didn't know there was a score.
I don't think there is a score. Read the actual scores.
Let's see. Bonnie's team is currently in the lead with several gold stars, followed closely by Team Jarrell with 97 blue ribbons. Team Randazzo has 2 1/2 glazed hams, and Team Chung has reached level 7. That's right, a tight game indeed.
I'm saying you're the clear winner with 2 glazed hams.
Yeah.
2 1/2.
No contest.
Well,
There's
this
a lot
is-
of
this
things
is
you could do
great.
with 1/2 a glazed ham, guys.
Wow, I was gonna read this list and then I realized it's really freaking long. So yeah, never mind.
Anyway, back to the news.
Back to the news. All right, Star Wars, the thing, it's happening. We're all into it. All right, so Karen, you posted this one. This is a trailer for Shadow and Bone, a new Netflix series.
Yeah. It just looks really cool.
It does, yeah.
It looks like it's a new fantasy series on Netflix. So it's got dragons and magic, and I don't know. I'm into it, and it's based on, I think, a series of books. If I'm remembering what I'm remembering right, I got this off my friend posted it, and she's really into books, and so this show is based on some books that she really likes.
I don't order books. I don't understand this.
It's words without pictures, honey.
Books are they're TV without pictures.
Sounds like work.
You mean I gotta think about this? Gotta put effort in? What is that about?
Anyway,
Yeah,
Anyway.
speaking of
I liked the trailer, by the way. But yeah, move on.
I'm glad.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know how to weigh in on this other than it looked cool.
That's about all there is to say.
The only reason I posted the next article was to hear Chris's reaction.
Which
Out
you're
of
getting.
sheer curiosity.
I'm so Variety.com reports more on this flabbergasting TV experience. Powerpuff Girls live action pilot at CW cast Donald Faison as Professor Utonium.
Eagle!
I love Donald Faison.
Yes.
Sounds like you're struggling a little bit with everything else about it, though.
Literally everything else. I don't understand. I don't understand why they think the Powerpuff Girls needs to be done in live action.
Because it's not for kids, Chris. It's for adults.
Listen, let's not Snyder
Duh.
this any more than we have to.
Is it though? I don't know what this is for. I don't understand what's happening right now. I'm so very confused.
Yeah, the other thing is that I didn't post it here, but they picked a actor to portray Mojo Jojo, and it came out on April 1st, so I couldn't tell if it was a real article or not, because those that don't know the Powerpuff Girls, Mojo Jojo is a sentient ape or monkey that has an exposed brain in a skull cap of some sort. I don't know.
It's awesome.
But it's not
There
a
have been
dude.
pictures of the cast. Oh yeah, that's coming down a few stories. From
Might
now.
as well just tie it in
throw
now.
this in there. So they finally showed pictures of the cast done up in their. I don't know.
Shaved
You can
heads
even
and
say they're done up in their
hair.
costumes. They look like. They don't look like anything. There's
They look
like
super cheap.
Okay,
there's like
wait, pause.
creases. They look like Halloween costumes.
After I saw this, well, funny you should say that because man, oh man, some of the tweets. But I did see another Vanity Fair article that actually pointed something out about the images that were circulating being something that would only be shown when they were doing like a flashback to when they were kids, and that it might not actually be relevant to their costumes at all. So I feel like this is either a red herring or it's actually just going to be a throwback to something that's not going to be super relevant. Almost not quite like when they did like WandaVision's throwback to the costumes where it was Halloween and they were wearing a Halloween costume. I don't think it'll be quite that deliberate, but I do think that from what is being reported now, maybe it's not as bad as it was being made to seem. But the internet sucks and it's full of trolls, so I don't know.
There is an image that has them in more like not real
Like
life
suits, right?
versions
Just-
of their outfits that's floating around out there. I don't understand
They're
the
wearing,
show.
like jackets, colored jackets. One of them's wearing like a sun.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if you look at what they're wearing, like the way that they look, the point was supposed to be something about it being a flashback to when they were either kids or teenagers, like before the Powerpuff
Before
Girls
they got
actually
gritty.
broke up. Yes, exactly.
Before they got jaded. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
All right.
I don't know, man. This just.
Spending.
I love the original Powerpuff Girls so very much. That show is genius. and I don't like to see
It
them
tarnished.
doing this.
I felt trolled by this headline too, because the headline of this Mary Sue article is "The Internet Loses It Over the Live Action Powerpuff Girl Costumes," and I thought that meant they were going to be good.
Yeah,
I was so mad.
they were not.
No, they were not. I don't know. I mean, I'm going to watch it out of pure morbid curiosity, but I mean, it's not like they've got bad talent on the show, right?
Right.
Like, anyway,
let's-
comicbook.com
Talk about something fun.
gives us some cool stuff here. This is Long Halloween cast, includes Jensen Ankles, Jensen
Ackles?
Ackles, Ankles,
Jensen Ankles.
Say it right or get his name out your mouth.
It's him as Batman, and there you go. Enjoy.
Yeah, I watched the trailer. I mean, I don't. I'm not going to say I'm going to watch this because I love Batman or anything. I mean, I like Batman.
Long Halloween's a good comic. I read
Great
it.
story.
But if I watch this, it's going to be to hear the voice. And there are a couple of lines in the trailer that you can hear. Sounds pretty good. Of course, the internet is all mad that it's not Kevin Conroy. There can only be one, blah, blah, blah. But I don't
There
know.
can only be one. There's been like 30.
Right. So,
And that's
He
on
sounds
That's on
good.
the safe side.
he sounds like he's doing justice to Batman.
I'm cautiously optimistic. Oh my god, words are hard. Jensen's ankles just make me lose my mind.
Makes you weak in the ankles, huh?
Anyway, I'm looking forward to seeing how he like owns the character because he's good enough at doing that like gruff voice that it kind of made sense that they would go in his direction.
Yeah.
I feel like he swayed his supernatural character to be Batman. Like that's what he
Right.
He
that
Like, if
literally-
you've ever
I'm
heard him,
Batman.
the actor, speak, he doesn't sound like Dean Winchester or
No.
Batman. He sounds like a
oddly
dude.
high pitched.
Sounds like a man with a single man tear. Okay, anyway, moving on. Yeah, so we're looking forward to it.
Moving on, this is very much exciting to me. We were just talking about this, and well, then this showed up out of nowhere. We got an email from the Kickstarter campaign, Bring Back Mystery Science Theater, and Joel was like, "Hey, here's an update. We got something new coming tomorrow." I'm like, "Okay, okay, I'm in. What are we doing?" So the next day rolled around, and the Kickstarter campaign showed up for Let's Make More MST3K and Build the Gizmoplex. This is a fascinating thing. So the whole thing of bringing back MST3K last time was to kind of like prove to the networks that there's a market for this thing, and they brought it back to Netflix, and it ran for 2 seasons, and even though it performed well, Netflix decided not to move forward with it. Because who knows why Netflix does the things that they do, but that's fine. Now they want to move forward by not just creating new episodes, but also creating their own platform to have them on,
Interesting.
which I think is really interesting. They want to create an app called the Gizmoplex that will allow you to, their new episodes will premiere on there. It'll allow you to like create watch parties with your friends so you can see it together. They can host live Q&As and stuff like that. I think this is absolutely fascinating, and to hit that, to take this show and kind of create its own unique platform, and it's still involving Patton Oswalt and Felicia Day, and
Is it the same host?
yeah, Jonah's still there.
Okay.
Yep, Jonah Heston.
It was just a weird picture of him. I didn't recognize
Yeah,
him.
he looks like he's lost some weight.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's still Jonah. And
Holy crackers and cheese. So that goal is a lofty goal.
Yeah.
yeah, it's less than they raised for the first Bring Back MST3K. I think they raised over $6 million, I think, with the first campaign. Within the first day or two, they broke their initial episodes 1 through 3. So we're already doing something. They reached their $2 million goal, and we're already a little bit shy of halfway to episodes 4 through 6. I really don't know where this is all going to go. I hope it makes it all the way to a 12-episode season. I haven't backed it yet because I'm not sure how much money to throw at it, honestly. Like, I just don't know. I also really need to get around to watching the rest of the Netflix ones because I never did because I just don't have the time. But I love this show and I want this platform to exist. They've got 24 days to go, and they were able to pull it off pretty significantly the first time around. I'm very curious to see if this sticks because this show is very near and dear to my heart, and I hope that it winds up getting its own platform. And I want to see what they do with the legacy content too. Like, will they, will old episodes be available on here? Goodness gracious, I have so many questions. But I don't know. I'm really into this idea. I think it's really fascinating, and it's nice to see that we're at the very least going to get some more episodes. It seems likely that at the very least we'll get 4 to 6, because I would be surprised if they didn't hit the $3.3 million goal. Mm-hmm. But well, I guess we'll see.
There you go.
I'm excited for you. I hope that they do well and that you are pleased with the
I'm
results.
still shocked that he hasn't watched the Netflix ones.
They're very significant time
I know, yeah.
commitments,
I fully understand it. It's just surprising to me.
Yeah, it's surprising to me too, and kind of heartbreaking. I think I made it to the gauntlet. I think I finished season 1. I just didn't get through season 2 yet. And there's stuff on there I really want to see too, just haven't done it. I mean, heck, right now there's a live the Mads are back with they're riffing a bunch of educational shorts, Trace and Frank, and then afterwards they're doing a live Q&A with Trace, Frank, and Kevin Murphy, and I'm super bummed that I'm not doing that, but I'm here with you guys, and that's just as good.
Aw.
Thanks.
See that, guys? He almost loves us.
Almost.
All right, so we'll keep you posted on all Mystery Science Theater related things in the future. Meanwhile, Deadline.com, Schitt's Creek's Annie Murphy. Whoa,
You did,
get away from here.
You did
Annie
skip
Murphy.
one.
What?
You skipped one earlier that is kind of important to the Marvel Studios. I don't know. The
Where?
Loki trailer. It's in between the two
Oh,
Batmans.
geez, there's no
and-
picture on it. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a new Loki trailer.
And it looks really fun. Looks really good.
It looks great.
I am excited.
Like I wasn't sold already, but
Right.
It's just
like-
it's just really good to see something like I like when I get reassurance that it's we're doing it. Look, we have pictures on film. There you go.
it's coming right after the one that you're watching now.
I fully enjoy it.
So, yay.
All right.
Yeah, there's a lot of Marvel happening. Anyway, the new Loki trailer. If you're not sold by now, I don't know what to tell you. Show's going to be great. You should watch
The
it.
tagline for the show.
That's the first Loki trailer I've watched. I didn't watch the other one.
Oh,
I didn't, and other ones. I don't even know how many there are. I just haven't watched
Doesn't
any until
matter.
now.
It's a show about Loki.
I know, but I'm telling you, it sold me. It did.
Nice. Huzzah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's see. Annie Murphy from Schitt's Creek is joining season 2 of Netflix's Russian Doll.
Do you remember the show?
Yeah, I remember this show. I am very confused by what season 2 is going to be about.
Evan has concerns.
I'm concerned that what was that? Christ, I can't remember the woman's name. Like the woman who played the original
Natasha
lead.
Lyonne.
Yeah, I don't want her to be replaced. Her reaction and her acting is what made me enjoy that show a lot.
And I would imagine that her story is kind of told, though, right?
Yes, that's why I wasn't craving for season 2 of this.
Yeah.
We don't have a lot of information about it, but I wonder whether it's going to be some kind of like anthology type of thing where it's a similar sort of storytelling, but a different story and different characters altogether.
Mm-hmm.
It's either that or they do that whole, it's another characters living their day over at the same time because... not necessarily a person thing, it's a day thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah. I'm concerned, but cautiously optimistic,
Yeah.
Annie Murphy's great, so...
Yeah, she's great. The quality's still there.
Yeah, I want to see where they go with this. I wasn't really sure how to form an opinion without having all of the information, and so far it's just that she's going to be there, so... All right.
Neat.
Oh my goodness. All right. Oof. Sorry. It's getting late.
Yeah, it is. All right, let's see. Let's keep this rolling. CBR.com, The Wonder Years reboot debuts. First photo of the cast.
Yeah, they're doing it.
That's a cast photo, all right.
They're doing it. It's I'm kind of surprised that they're still sticking it out, but they're doing it.
I didn't think Dule Hill aged, but apparently he does.
Yeah, I think it's makeup. They're just doing all that old makeup to him. He looks exactly like he did 20 years ago, no question. I mean,
I still don't understand how they're going to pull this off, but okay.
I'm sure it'll be fine, like as a TV show. I'm sure it'll be just fine. Just, I don't know. It sure is a cast picture.
Mm-hmm.
Listeners, can you tell we have
it's not like
thoughts?
they're done in superhero outfits. It's just like, here are these actors in period wear. Okay, show me the show. I don't... good times. Surprising nobody TV line. Bridgerton renewed for seasons 3 and 4 at Netflix ahead of Netflix. Netflix is ahead of season 2 debut. I'm surprised they didn't go all the way to 6.
Yay!
I was waiting for Karen.
How many books are there? Are there like 47 books?
I think there's 8.
Okay, so there'll be 8 seasons. 8 seasons in a movie. Is that how it goes?
Who
6
knows?
seasons in a movie.
Listen, they could just decide to do their own thing with it. It's so popular at this point. I mean, they literally say in the article, like, "Oh, Bridgerton's not going anywhere for a very long time." I pictured a ha at the end of that, but yeah, I'm excited. I guess. I mean, I know Simon's like not going to be in the next season, and I know that was like the appeal for a lot of people, and hopefully they have enough interest in the other characters in the story that they can continue to keep this going, but they seem very confident that they can. So come on, Netflix.
What was the deal with the one guy who is no longer on Bridgerton? Like, it was a big thing in the news. Like, he won't be making a season 2.
Yeah, go ahead, Karen.
He just got a better job, and he's not coming back. The thing about the Bridgerton books is that there is one for each sibling.
Yes.
Okay.
So the fact that the Duke won't be back in season 2 doesn't necessarily impact it that much, because I think the season 2 is going to be about the older brother.
Okay.
I could be wrong about that, but the point is, like, his character was very forward in season 1 because it was made. It was the source of it was the book that was about that sister and her marriage. Mm-hmm. So it's not necessarily a big deal that he won't be there.
Yeah.
As much as we will all miss him because he was very nice to look at and quite a good actor. But good for him for, it launching him to other things.
Yeah, for sure.
I saw him I saw a couple of the skits he did on SNL the week that he hosted, and it was pretty funny. Good stuff.
Nice.
Cool.
I don't really watch SNL. I didn't even know that was still going. So
It is.
look at that. Anyway,
It
yeah,
will
we
never
totally
not be still going.
we're relevant. What?
It will never not be still going.
I kind of believe that at this point.
That show will outlive us all.
You might be
Anyway,
right.
Variety.com. Netflix revamps kids' profiles to add character-based favorites row on TVs.
Interesting.
This is kind of neat. I see it's kind of an expansion of what they already have going on the... Like, you go to Netflix Kids, there's a whole row at the top that's just like, here's all these, like, characters, and you just poke the characters, and they'll, take you to the show. This is like, here's the icon for the show and the character sticking out of the top of it. Now, of course, I'm immediately turned off because right in the middle is fucking Coco Melon, and that show can jump into the fucking sun. But outside of that, I think it's a neat concept.
Jesus, tell me how you really feel.
Oh, he is sugarcoating it, honey. Don't get him started.
It makes it easier for kids to watch TV, which maybe, I don't know, isn't necessarily a thing that we need. I mainly zoomed into this link because I was like, oh, so ours is going to be like exclusively My Little Pony and Barbie.
There's probably Miraculous will be up there too.
Yeah, maybe some Miraculous.
I'm sorry. Over on my second screen, I just have Facebook
Fancy
up,
Pants.
and there's this tasty video that's playing right now where this guy's making taco shells out of cheese. And I'm just so enticed by it.
Enamored.
Of course you are.
It's a
It's
whole other
amazing.
thing
He's
to
just
watch.
taking cheese, slapping it on the grill, frying the cheese itself in like a circle. Then you flip it over and you fold it in half, and it's a taco shell. And then you just fill it with meat. It's genius. Anyway,
Okay, you know what? It's fine. Send me that link later.
I think we might need to put that in the show notes because I have a feeling there are some listeners who might be interested.
I
yeah,
have a feeling some
there's
listeners just
gravy
started
everywhere.
salivating.
It's just, I love tacos. All right, so yeah,
Hell
Netflix
yes.
Characters. Sure, let's make it easier for kids to find the TV shows that they want on their own, because more unsupervised TV is what we need.
Yeah, I mean, if 2020 has taught us anything, it's that kids need unlimited screen time.
Most definitely.
In order to maintain parents' sanity.
And then just at the very end here, Jesus Christ, I just clicked on this link, and what's there at the top? An ad for new quesadillas at Chipotle. Somebody wants me to eat Mexican food right now. God, melted
Pretty
cheese
sure
and
it's
meats.
Zuckerberg.
When I click on the link, it's something awkward. It literally says IGN support. This is awkward, but apparently my VPN is blocking them. Sorry.
I see.
I just want to
Anyway,
understand the
this
psychology.
just showed up
Sorry.
while we were recording, and I just had to include it. Netflix Godzilla anime coming this June. New trailer released, and you can tell that it's anime because the title is Godzilla Singular Point, and if that's not anime nonsense, I don't know what is. I gotta know if this is gonna be at all kid friendly. The trailer didn't look not kid friendly. It looked very anime and really kind of cool.
Oh my god, the imagery! There's a set of stills from like the original King or Godzilla below the trailer,
Oh, it's a thing of beauty.
and there's like one picture. I think it's Kong versus Godzilla, where Kong is standing in the background with his arm in the air, and Godzilla's running away with a stone that's hitting him in the back of the head. God, I love those old movies.
That's the thing. I'm thinking about showing him some of the old ones and see if they stick, because he was interested he was asking me about the different monsters in Godzilla, and I was like, let's take a look at some pictures of him online, and he was really interested in them. I was like, I don't know what he's going to get out of these old movies. Like,
Well, Dan and his kids have a glorious time watching them. All of them are on the Plex.
I'm sorry.
All of
Is
them.
this in the trailer? It's like Godzilla walking through fire, and like the only real animation is the tail just moves from left to right behind him on the screen. Like, what is happening right now? Oh my god, that was amazing. And wait, some of the I don't. Okay, now I'm just confused.
I mean, it's very anime. I love that it's like about a crazy old scientist building Jet Jaguar, which is super cool, and it's like this weird lanky Jet Jaguar, which is awesome. I don't know. This looks neat. I really want it to be something awesome that we can watch together, because I really want John to have the Godzilla knowledge that I never had. I never got into Godzilla as a kid, and I'm sure I would have had it been available to me. And that boy loves giant monsters, man. He just loves monsters. So I feel like this is a universe he needs to be involved in. So maybe I'll just start sitting him in front of some classic Godzilla movies and see if he likes it or if he thinks it's boring.
Does he still have the fear line? Like,
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
We watched, Chris and I watched Godzilla versus Kong a week or two ago, and we were like, well, he's interested in this stuff, so let's check this out to see if he could handle it. And like 10 minutes in, we were like, nope.
Yeah, because that's the problem. Like what's that kaiju? What's that? The
Pacific Rim.
Pacific Rim. That's great kaiju monsters and giant robots, but some of that shit gets scary for
Yeah.
children.
Like, I was thinking of the Monster Hunter movie. Like, sure, I mean, they fought Rathalos at the end, but 80% of that movie is fighting those hideous fucking spider monsters. He would be scared shitless of that.
Yeah, I'll be
Like,
honest, they creep me out a little too.
I was horrified. And there was a lot of like brutal, like, gutting, like when the dude like picked up his shirt and exploded all this. It was gross. Like, And it didn't need to be there.
And
but
you won't
whatever.
get that stuff in classic.
That movie didn't need to be there. But classic Godzilla is like dude in rubber suit. Like, is he going to think it's silly, or is he just going to be totally fucking into it? Like, I don't know.
That would be awesome because
He's the right age that he could be. It very much could go either way. Because one of my best friends growing up was obsessed with Godzilla. That's how I got all my Godzilla knowledge. Because he had all of the movies. I don't even know how they got the movies at the time, but he had movies, he had toys, he had everything.
Right? It's such a cool universe, and the plots are complete nonsense.
Yeah.
But we're watching Justice League now, and it's like, yeah, some of these plots are complete nonsense too. So what the hell, right?
Yeah.
Like,
for every giant rubber Godzilla suit, there is like the giant lobster, which looks oddly realistic. This one imagery here of giant spiders. Like, I think he might be into it because some of them are really bad, but some of them are okay looking, like passable.
yeah, and even if they're not, like, he pretends all this stuff with his stuffed animals all the time. Like, he'll pick like 3 or 4 different plastic toys to take in the shower with him, so he can pretend he's playing Metroid in the shower with like fighting all the boss monsters. Like, we're playing this Metroid game now where one of the repeating bosses is this giant like mechanical pillar in a room, and another one is this little like robot circle thing that floats around the room and shoots at you. And like, he's like, I need to find something that replicates these to take to the shower. Like, all right, so I found this toy plastic log from one of his old logging trucks as a kid, as a little tiny boy, and then a little like smiley face spongy ball thing, and he was like, those are perfect.
Way to go, Dad, you win.
Pretended to do the boss fights from Metroid because the kid loves this stuff, and boy, I want to get him into Godzilla, so we'll see.
Perhaps this is the way.
Perhaps.
Yeah, you'll have to let us know how it goes.
Will do. I'll keep you posted. But with that, I think we're all out of news, and we're just about out of consciousness, so let's wrap this thing up, huh?
Okay.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right. That is our show. This week's episode isn't filmed before a live studio audience, but it is fueled by feedback from listeners like you. You can get in touch with us in a multitude of ways. We have an official Geekade Discord, where there's an entire This Week's Episode channel dedicated to all things TV talk. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram through the official Geekade channels, or the more specific Twepcast accounts, and of course, the 4 of us can be found in various ways. I'm available on Twitter at GeekadeChris, and you can read my work at StoneAgeGamer.com and in the pages of Nintendo Force magazine. Karen, where can people find you?
I am on Twitter at shoot_the_moon, and you can find my fun, feminist, and fandom fiber art at STM Stitches at various locations on Etsy, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
Excellent alliteration. Angie, where can people find you?
I'm not as clever, but you can find my socials at A4Not, or you can look me up on Twitch, LaraCraft13.
And Evan, where can people find you?
I'm at all of the socials at Geekade_Evan.
If you need to know more about the shows or news stories we discussed tonight and what we'll be watching in the future, have a look at our show notes. And if you have any other questions at all, we can always be reached at mail@geekade.com. Just include the words "this week's episode" in the subject line so we know who you're trying to reach. This show is available anywhere fine podcasts are sold, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, YouTube, and more. And wherever you decide to listen, please like, comment, and subscribe, and leave reviews, because any and all feedback is welcome and appreciated. Again, as always, keep your eyes on geekade.com for more fresh original content. A reminder on your homework, we are watching The Expanse Season 1, Episode 1. The next episode, which will be eventually...
2 weeks?
Yeah, sure. Let's say 2 weeks. I love it. Great plan. Excited to be a part of it. That's it. This has been this week's episode from geekade.com. I'm Chris.
I'm Karen.
I'm Angie.
Jensen's ankles.
Good night.
And this concludes our broadcast day.